my power. Look into the hypnotic eye. Time now to enter Mr. Lobo's domain. Look out! Open your mind to the possibility that they're not bad movies, just misunderstood. You're not dreaming. You're watching Cinema Insomnia.
Tonight's feature is not an encore presentation of Night of the Living Dead, and not a remake or reimagining, but an artsy-fartsy homage to this classic that refuses to die. I'm your host, Mr. Lobo. This is the one that started it all. Like Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland, George A. Romero, and John Russo, and just about the whole damn town of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, gathered together in an old farmhouse with a trunk full of old clothes and... Excuse me. What? Pittsburgh. Are you sure? Really? Well, that's like a suburb of Philly, right? It's more than 6 hours away. Oh, well, you know, when you're from one of the bigger states, the rest of the world seems small. All right. Okay, thank you. See you at the Monster Bash, Kyra. Doggone it. Mr. Lobo's been saying Philadelphia like an idiot for years. I said Philly on Coast to Coast AM and in front of 4 million listeners. Excuse me.
4,000,001, Mr. Lowbrow. How dare you corrupt the minds of sane, forward-thinking conspiracy show listeners with your misrepresentation of the facts and your satanic lust for this perverted horror nonsense?
Who is this?
You know who this is. This is J.C. Webster III, God's 10-star general in the war against media pornography. And I'm here to tell you that I stand against all things foul and determine myself to come against the likes of people like you purportedly hosting...
This isn't talk radio where the rants of random angry people are entertained. This is real TV, sort of. Good day to you, sir. Sorry about that. Where were we? Classic movie, set the standard for modern zombie film, blah, blah. Fast forward, hundreds of animators from all over the world with a lot of free time on their hands and precious little talent were organized by Neoflux Productions to take part in an animation jam that preserves the flavor and the wonder bred in the original while spreading a new rainbow of different flavors and tastes that get together in a sweet sandwich jam preserves. Mr. Lobo's getting hungry all of a sudden. Why don't we grab ourselves a bite and enjoy reel one of tonight's feature, Night of the Living Dead Reanimated.
They ought to make the day the time changes, the first day of summer.
What?
Well, it's 8 o'clock and it's still light.
A lot of good the extra daylight does us. Now, we've still got a 3-hour drive back. We're not going to be home until after midnight.
Well, if it really bugged you, Johnny, you wouldn't do it.
You think I want to blow Sunday on a scene like this? You know, I figure we're either going to have to move Mother out here or move the grave into Pittsburgh.
She can't make a trip like this.
Oh, I know that she can't. Is there any of that candy left?
No.
Look at this thing. We still remember. I don't. You know, I don't even remember what the man looks like.
Johnny, it takes you 5 minutes.
Yeah, 5 minutes to put the wreath on the grave and 6 hours to drive back and forth. Mother wants to remember, so we trot 200 miles into the country and she stays at home.
Well, we're here, John, all right?
Back on? Oh. Ladies and
Hey,
gentlemen, we're coming back on the air after an interruption due to technical problem.
There's nothing wrong with the radio. Must have been the station.
Which row is it in?
Well, there's no one around.
Well, it's late. If you'd gotten up earlier.
Oh, look, I already lost an hour's sleep on the time change.
I think you complain just to hear yourself talk. There it is.
I wonder what happened to the one from last year. Each year we spend good money on these things. We come out here and the one from last year's gone.
Well, the flowers die, and the caretaker or somebody takes them away.
Yeah, a little spit and polish. You can clean this up. Sell it next year. Wonder how many times we bought the same one. Hey, come on, Barb. Church was this morning, huh? Hey, I mean praying's for church, huh? Come on.
I haven't seen you in church lately.
Well, there's not much sense in my going to church. Do you remember one time when we were small, we were out here? It was from right over there. I jumped out at you from behind the tree, and Grandpa got all excited, and he shook his fist at me, and he said, "Boys, you'll be damned to hell." Remember that? Right over there. Well, you used to really be scared here.
Johnny,
You're still afraid.
stop it now. I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
He'll hear you.
Here he comes now. I'm getting out of here.
Johnny. Oh! No! No! Johnny! Help me!
Drainage ditches, parking lots, drive-thrus, abandoned swimming pools. These are public places you have the right to grind on them whenever you please. Has the man been hassling you, keeping you and your board from catching wicked air? I can help you. I'm Rad Abrams, skateboard attorney.
Dude, I was tweaking. It was like totally my fault.
Even if you were tweaking, then it was like totally your fault. I can help you.
Dude, I hella effed up this guy's yard, and I'm pissed. But I don't know why.
Even if you're messed up inside, you're misplacing anger that should be directed at your parents. I can help you.
Dude, I am super broke. I can barely even afford smokes. How do you expect me to get a lawyer?
I know how it is. No money, no problem. There's no fee until we win. You can even bum a smoke. Let Rad Abrams hook you up.
Don't delay. Call Rad Abrams and Associates today. Look for our ad in Thrasher magazine.
Later days, dudes.
In a Weeble's haunted house, Weebles wobble all about, and it's a real exciting place to be. A smiling ghost with glowing face has a secret hiding place, and that's not all, there's plenty more to see. Cause a Weeble's haunted house is a great place to be. Weeble's haunted house, including glow-in-the-dark Weeble ghost, new from Romper Room.
Hang a soup can on a wall in a gallery, and it no longer nourishes the consumer, but satisfies the pretensions. Entertainment is not the goal of true art. The purpose of art is to challenge you, make you reevaluate your life. And this piece of art tonight is definitely working on Mr. Lobo. I must ask you all now, as I have in the past, to recite the Insomniac's oath. Please assume the position and repeat after Mr. Lobo. I, as an initiated member of the Sleepless Nights of Insomnia, do solemnly swear to watch the movie, the whole movie, and nothing but the movie. So help me, Mr. Lobo. Hurts more every time. Oh, let me stand down. And now, the film inspired by the inspired film that inspiring minds want to know. Night of the Living Dead, Reanimated.
Don't worry about him. I can handle him. Probably be a lot more of them as soon as they find out about us. The truck is out of gas. This pump out here is locked. Is there a key? We can try to get out if we can get some gas. Is there a key? I suppose you've tried this. Do you live here? Jesus. We've got to get out of here. We have to get to where there's some other people. Maybe we better take some food. I'll see if I can find some food.
What's happening?
How do you think it's happening?
What's happening?
Two of them. There are two of them out there. Have you seen any more around here? I can take care of those two.
I don't
I know you're afraid, but we have
I
to...
don't know! I don't know! What's happening?
look at it.
Whoa! Now there's some cartoon animation for you. You know, Mr. Lobo got worried it was going to look like The Sims for the whole rest of the movie. You know, watching all of this is inspiring, Mr. Lobo, to start an animation jam for this show. I mean, why should we do all the work? There must be an army of unemployed artists watching Cinema Insomnia right now, just waiting to be exploited. Let Mr. Lobo put on his thinking cap while you sharpen your pencils. Get some more inspiration right here.
Oh, here they come again. And I'm frightened because a child can become trapped in me and suffocate in 10 minutes. Children have such imaginations. To them, an abandoned refrigerator can be a jail in the Old West. If I must be stored, make me safe by one of the methods described in this free booklet. Make me safe so children can play safe.
Creepy crawlers, creepy crawlers, creepy crawlers.
Now, you can make all kinds of lovely things like these with Mattel's wonderful Thing Maker. It makes creepy crawlers, spiders, lizards, snakes, dragonflies. Make them yourself with this nice plastic goop. Choose a mold, pour in the goop, heat it, and presto changeo, you've got bugs. Squiggly, squirty bugs. They feel so soft and natural. You get 4 different colors of goop and special paints. Make charming lizard pins or spider rings. You can collect them or spread them around. After all, they're fun for the entire family. Get Mattel's new Thing Maker with creepy crawlers. You can tell it's Mattel. It's swell.
You know, Mr. Lobo really does get his best ideas from the funny books. Look at this. Amazing lifelike brine chimps. Maybe you've seen an ad like this. Always wanted to order these, but Miss Mittens hates animals. But what if Mr. Lobo plays pretend and makes believe he orders these critters out of the comic, and since they're microscopic, you can use your imagination to create 10 to 30-second films about them and send it to the address on your screen. Mr. Lobo will pretend to look into a little bowl or something on the show, and then you just take it from there. Have fun with it. Professional artists know that fun is code for we don't really know what we want and we're not paying you. Okay, artists, get to work. Send me something fast. Doesn't have to be perfect, nothing fancy. During the next reel of Night of the Living Dead, Reanimated.
more lights on in this house.
Why don't you see if you can find some wood, some boards, something there by the fireplace, something we can nail this place up.
Oh, God damn.
Look, I know you're afraid. I'm afraid too. But we have to try to board the house up together. Now, I'm going to board up the windows and the doors. Do you understand? We'll be all right here. We'll be all right here until someone comes to rescue us. But we'll have to work together. You'll have to help me. Now, I want you to go in and get some wood so I can board the place up. Do you understand? Okay? Okay? That's wrong. Yeah, I want you to pick out some nails. Pick out the biggest ones you can find. There, this room looks pretty secure.
If we have to, we can run in here and board up the doors. Won't be long before those things be back pounding their way in here. They're afraid now.
They're afraid of fire. I found that out. You know a place back down the road called Beekman's? Beekman's Diner? Anyhow, that's where I found that truck I have out there. There's a radio in the truck. I had jumped in to listen to it when a big gasoline truck came screaming right across the road. But there must have been 10, 15 of those things chasing after it, grabbing and holding on. Now, I didn't see them at first. I could just see that the truck was moving in a funny way. And those things were catching up to it. The truck went right across the road. Slammed on my brakes to keep from hitting it myself. It went right through the guardrail. I guess the driver must have cut off the road into that gas station by Beekman's Diner. It went right through the billboard, ripped over a gas pump, and never stopped moving. By now, it's like a moving bonfire. Didn't know if the truck was going to explode or what. Still hear the man screaming. This thing is just backing away from it. I looked back at the diner to see if there was anyone there who could help me. It was when I noticed that the entire place had been encircled. There wasn't a sign of life left.
That was disturbing. I didn't realize those Mego dolls were so pliable. All right, well, Mr. Lobo has his tank here. And during the break, we got a package in the mail, wink, wink. My brine chimp eggs hatched in the water during the last reel of the movie, not seen here. I wonder what wonderful tricks they'll do for me if I simply peer into the tank. Just looking. Anytime now. Going to see the wonderful world. Amazing live brine chimps. Cue up the animation. Any of them. Okay. What? Oh, appears we don't have any entries yet. You'd think 10 minutes would be enough time to produce 10 seconds worth of animation. I suppose you artists have got to be in the right headspace or whatever. Cinema Insomnia. We'll be right back.
Roaring down the highway, danger in every trip. Action is their middle name. You can make your own adventures. These troopers come equipped with helmet, holster, toy gun, and billy club and chips. You can pretend that John is serious in this partnership and punches out to have some fun. There's lots to do with chips. You can pose them any way you want or take them on your trips. It's Chips.
Chips. Ponch and John, each sold separately, all accessories included, by Mego.
In 1968, George Romero brought us Night of the Living Dead. It became the classic horror film of its time. Now, George Romero brings us the most intensely shocking motion picture experience for all times. Dawn of the Dead. Night of the Living Dead has ended. Dawn of the Dead is here.
It gets up and kills. The people it kills get up and kill.
They must be destroyed on sight.
When there is no more room in hell, the dead will walk the earth. Dawn of the Dead.
You're not dreaming. You're watching Cinema Insomnia.
Yes, hello. Is this Neo Flux Productions? Could I speak to Michael Snyder, editor, curator of Night of the Living Dead Reanimated, please? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you'd have people. Yes, we're trying to do an animation jam thingy, and it's not going so well. Uh-huh. Well, how'd you do it? Really? Months and months. Like herding cats with learning disabilities. Okay. So you're saying Mr. Lobo should have started months ago if I needed animation for tonight. Well, at least we have tonight's movie ready for viewing. Excuse me. And now back to Night of the Living Dead Reanimated.
By now, there were no more screams. I realized that I was alone with 50 or 60 of those things, just standing there, staring at me. I started to drive. I just plowed right through them. They didn't move. They didn't run or just stood there, staring at me. Just wanted to crush them. They scattered through the air like bugs.
We were riding in the cemetery, Johnny and me. Johnny. We came to put a wreath on my father's grave. And he said, "Can I have some candy, Barbara?" We didn't have any. And, oh, it's hot in here. Hot. And he said, "Oh, it's late. Why did we start so late?" And I said, "Johnny, if you'd gotten up earlier, we wouldn't be late." Johnny asked me if I were afraid. And I said, "I'm not afraid, Johnny." And then this man started walking up the road. He came slowly, and Johnny kept teasing me and saying, "He's coming to get you, Barbara." And I laughed at him and said, "Johnny, stop it." And then Johnny ran away. And I went up to this man, and I was going to apologize.
Why don't you just keep calm?
And I looked up, and I said, "Goody." And he grabbed me. He grabbed me, and he ripped at me. He held me, and he ripped at my clothes.
I think you should just calm down.
Oh, I screamed, "Johnny! Johnny, help me! Oh, help me!" Let me go, he ripped. And then Johnny came and he ran and he fought this man. And I got so afraid. I ran. And Johnny didn't come. We have to wait for Johnny. Maybe we better go out and get him. We have to go out and get Johnny. He's out there. Please, don't you hear me? We've got to go out and get him. Please! We have got to go get Johnny! Please help me! Please!
Don't you know what's going on out there? This is no Sunday school picnic.
Don't you understand? My brother is alone!
brother is dead.
No! My brother is not dead! Oh. Oh.
Because of the obvious threat to untold numbers of citizens, and because of the crisis which is even now developing, this radio station will remain on the air day and night. This station and hundreds of other radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country are pooling their resources through an emergency network hookup to keep you informed of all developments. At this hour, we repeat, these are the facts as we know them. There is an epidemic of mass murder being committed by a virtual army of unidentified assassins. The murders are taking place in villages, cities, rural homes, and suburbs with no apparent pattern or reason for the slayings. It seems to be a sudden, general explosion of mass homicide. We have some descriptions of the assassins. Eyewitnesses say they are ordinary-looking people. Some say they appear to be in a kind of trance. Others describe them as being So, at this point, there is no really authentic way for us to say who or what to look for and guard yourself against. Misshapen monsters. Reaction of law enforcement officials is one of complete bewilderment at this hour. So far, we have been unable to determine that any kind of organized investigation is yet underway. Police, sheriff's deputies, and emergency ambulances are literally deluged with calls for help. The scene can best be described as mayhem. Mayors of Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Miami, along with the governors of several eastern and midwestern states, have indicated the National Guard may be mobilized at any moment, but that has not happened as yet. The only advice our reporters have been able to get from official sources is for private citizens to stay in their homes behind locked doors. Do not venture outside for any reason until the nature of this crisis has been determined and until we can advise what course of action to take. Keep listening to radio and TV for any special instructions as this crisis develops further. Thousands of office and factory workers are being urged to stay at their places of employment, not to make any attempt to get to their homes. However, in spite of this urging and warning, streets and highways are packed with frantic people trying to reach their families or apparently to flee just anywhere. We repeat, the safest course of action at this time is simply to stay where you received word that the president has called a meeting of his cabinet to deal with the sudden epidemic of murder which has seized the eastern third of this nation. The meeting is scheduled to convene within the hour. Members of the presidential cabinet will be joined by officials of the FBI and joint teams behind closed doors. The White House spokesman, in announcing this conference, says there will be an official announcement as soon as possible following that meeting. This is the latest dispatch just received in our newsroom.
Work, work, work. Romana, are you sure you're using that sonic hammer correctly? You don't want to damage the time circuits on Mr. Lobo's rocking chair. I didn't tell you to stop. To give you more time to submit your animated segments to the show for our own crowdsourced animation jam. My companion, Romana, is getting Mr. Lobo's rocking chair ready for a trip many, many, many months into the past. If we succeed, you will have already known about our project, worked it out, and have started submitting your pieces by tonight.
Wouldn't that cause a paradox?
More like a charadox. Hang on, Romana.
How far are you going?
About 30 years.
From outer space, the famous TARDIS brings Time Lord, Doctor Who, and the amazing Leela, ready to do battle against their mighty enemies, the fearful Cybermen, the giant robot, and one of the deadly Daleks. Whilst Leela covers him, the Doctor reaches the TARDIS in time and disappears to escape from the Dalek. Doctor Who, Leela, the fearful inhabitants of outer space, and the TARDIS. From Dennis Fisher. Fantastic.
The paint's still wet. Good Lord, Romana.
Not as far back.
We're in Maxwell's Stein. Look, there I am now.
But tut-tut, don't feel gypped. This is not a pyramid scheme.
Amusing. You were funnier back then.
No, you mean funnier back now. Hi there. Romana and I are in the studio in the past, which is your present. We know you're enjoying tonight's film, Maxwell Stein, but many, many months in the future, we want to organize a worldwide animation jam with the help of Neoflux Productions. They made this movie called Night of the Living Dead Reanimated that we'll be presenting in an upcoming show. Artists recreated scenes from the original 1969 film. Check out this example.
Latest word also from National Press Services in Washington, D.C. now tells us that the emergency presidential conference, which we've just mentioned, will include high-ranking scientists from the National Aeronautics and Space Administration. That's the extent of this latest meeting. Members of his cabinet, the FBI, joint chiefs of staff, and scientists from NASA within the hour. All radio and TV stations throughout this part of the country, including the one to which you were listening, have joined their facilities in an emergency network to bring you this news as it develops. We urge you to stay tuned to radio and TV and to stay indoors at all costs. Late reports reaching this newsroom tell of frightened people seeking refuge in churches, schools, and government buildings, demanding shelter and protection from the wholesale murder which apparently is engulfing much of the nation. Law enforcement officials are at a loss to explain or even at this hour, even to theorize about the reasons for this wave of murder. So far, the advice we're able to give the public is something Chief T.K. Dunmore of Camden, North Carolina, was quoted as saying, quote, "Tell the people, for God's sake, to get off portion of Texas. Similar killings have been reported around the Houston and Galveston areas, but nothing like...
I found a gun and some bullets out there.
It was only late yesterday
and
that it
these.
first became clear we were facing some kind of national emergency. When first reports began filtering in, newsmen and law enforcement agencies were of the opinion...
This place is boarded up pretty solid now.
However, as these
We ought to be all right here for a while.
dramatically, it was soon apparent that
We have
this
the
was
gun
something
and
more than the
bullets,
usual run of lawlessness.
food and the radio.
Began to suspect an obscure kind of conspiracy.
Sooner or later, someone's bound to come and get us out.
Creatures from outer space. So again, we join with law enforcement agencies, urging you to seek shelter in a building. Lock the doors and windows securely.
Hey, that's us. We're doing all right.
Cautious of any suspicious strangers. And keep tuned to your radio and television for survival instructions and further details of this continuing story.
Look, I don't know if you're hearing me, but I'm going upstairs now. If anything should try to break in here, I can hear it from up there, and I'll be down to take care of it. Everything is all right for now. I'll be back to reinforce the windows and doors later. But you'll be all right for now, okay? Okay.
Civil defense officials in Cumberland have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers. Reports from witnesses to the effect that people who acted as though they were in a kind of trance were killing and eating their victims prompted authorities to examine the bodies of some of the victims. Medical authorities in Cumberland have concluded that in all cases, the killers are eating the flesh of the people. Repeating this latest bulletin just received moments ago from Cumberland, Maryland, civil defense authorities have told newsmen that murder victims show evidence of having been partially devoured by their murderers. Medical examination of victims' bodies shows conclusively that the killers are eating the flesh of the people they kill. And so this incredible story becomes more ghastly with each report. It's difficult to imagine such a thing actually happening, but these are the reports we have been receiving and passing on to you, reports which have been verified as completely as is possible in this confused situation. It is happening, and it would appear that no one is safe from this wave of mass murder.
Don't shoot. We're from town. A radio.
County, Pennsylvania. The Butler County Sheriff has verified that reports of murder being partially eaten by their slayers is true. No further details available at this time. However,
How long have you guys been down there? I could use some help up here.
That's the cellar. It's the safest place.
You mean you didn't hear the racket we were making up here?
How were we supposed to know what was going on? Could have been those things for all we knew.
That girl was screaming. Sure, you must know what a girl screaming sounds like. Those things don't make any noise. Anybody would know somebody ever needed help.
Look, it's kind of hard to hear what's going on from down there. We thought we could hear screams, but for all we knew, that could have meant those things were in the house afterward.
And you wouldn't come up and help?
Well, if there were more. The racket sounded like the place was being ripped apart. How were we supposed to know what was going on?
Now, wait a minute. You just got finished saying you couldn't hear from down there. Now you say it sounded like the place was being ripped apart. It would be nice if you get your story straight, man.
All right, now you tell me. I'm not going to take that kind of a chance when we got a safe place. We luck into a safe place, and you're telling us we got to risk our lives just because somebody might need help, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
All right, why don't we settle this, mister? We came up, okay, we're here. Now I suggest we all go back downstairs before any of those things find out we're in here.
They can't get in here.
You got the whole place boarded up?
Yeah, most of it. All but a few spots upstairs. They won't be hard to fix.
You're insane. The cellar's the safest place.
I'm telling you, they can't get in here.
And I'm telling you, those things turned over our car. We were damn lucky to get away at all. Now you tell me those things can't get through this lousy pile of wood? His wife and kids downstairs. The kid's hurt.
Well, I still think we're better off up here.
We could strengthen everything up, Mr. Cooper.
With all of us working, we could fix this place up in no time. We have everything we need up here.
We can take all that stuff downstairs with us. Man, you're really crazy, you know that? You got 1,000,000 windows up here. All these windows, you're gonna make them strong enough to keep these things out, huh?
I told you those things don't have any strength. I smashed 3 of them and pushed another one out the door.
Did you hear me when I told you they turned over our car?
Oh, hell, any good 5 men can do that.
That's my point. Only there's not going to be 5 or even 10. There's going to be 20, 30, maybe 100 of those things. And as soon as they know we're here, this place is going to be crawling with them.
Well, if there's that many, they'll probably get us wherever we are.
Look, the cellar. The cellar, there's only one door, right? Just one door, that's all we have to protect. Tom and I fixed it so it locks and boards from the inside. But up here, all these windows, why, we'd never know where they were going to hit us next.
You got a point, Mr. Cooper. But down in the cellar, there's no place to run to. I mean, if they did get in, there'd be no back exit. We'd be done for. We can get out of here if we have to. And we got windows to see what's going on outside. But down there with no windows, if a rescue party did come, we wouldn't even know it.
But the cellar is the strongest place.
The cellar is a death trap.
I don't know, Mr. Cooper. I think he's right. You know how many's out there?
I don't know. Maybe 6 or 7.
Look, you two can do whatever you like. I'm going back down to the cellar, and you better decide. Because I'm going to board up that door, and I'm not going to unlock it again no matter what happens.
Now, wait a minute, Mr. Cooper.
No, I'm not going to wait. I've made my decision, now you make yours.
Now, wait a minute. Let's think about this. We can make it to the cellar if we have to. And if we do decide to stay down there, we'll need some things from up here. So let's at least consider this a while.
If you box yourself in the cellar and those things get in the house, you've had it. At least up here you have a fighting chance.
Yeah, it looks like about 8 or 10 out there now.
There's more than there were. There are a lot out back, too.
All right. Who's the jive turkey now? We did it, Romana. We told the aspiring artists and filmmakers of the past about our animation jam. And now, we're safely back in the future. All we have to do now is sit back, relax, and let those free animations roll on in. Can I fix you a drink? It's almost intermission time.
Affirmative. I could use a stiff one.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Slowly, relentlessly, destiny ticks off the terrifying minutes of anguish that freeze the blood. The castle of the living dead. In an atmosphere of horror, the story of a man who violates the forbidden frontiers of science to arrive at a frightful but lucid madness and atrocious inhuman crime. Starring the unforgettable creator of Dracula, Christopher Lee, in a new triumphant performance, breathtaking as never before, sadistic and pitiless, subtle and monstrous. is a film with a thrill a minute. It will hold you spellbound with its unexpected, shocking surprises, in which tragic reality and unearthly fantasy blend in an atmosphere of horror and suspense.
It's refreshment time, and our refreshment stand is loaded with good things to eat. There's crispy, crunchy popcorn, and hot, delicious buttered popcorn, lots of candy, and frosty, refreshing cold drinks. Why not treat yourself at the refreshment center now?
You're not dreaming. You're still watching Cinema Insomnia. I'm your host, Mr. Lobo. We hope you enjoyed tonight's intermission. There's nothing in Mr. Lobo's copy of John Stanley's Creature Features movie guide, or this book either for that matter, to describe tonight's feature, and we can hardly blame him. This mashup, it's not easy to describe. Luckily, Mr. Lobo has a data disk right here. Here we go. This was an ambitious undertaking. Over 100 artists with over 100 styles and nearly $100 collaborated to play along to the original soundtrack of the influential horror classic Night of the Living Dead, as sort of a international shadowcast karaoke of epidemic proportions. It's an eclectic mixed media montage of 2D animation, oil paintings, sketches, stop motion, video effects, pixelization, comic book illustrations, sock puppets, you name it, they got it. For some, this may seem like watching somebody spray paint graffiti on the Liberty Bell. Yes, I know, not Philly, Pittsburgh. For the right or wrong reasons, tonight's reimagining reminds us of how incredible and important the original film is, which can't be overstated, and even inspired us to do an animation jam of our own with Neoflux Productions in hopes that someone will remember how influential and important this show is. We can hope, can't we? Cinema Insomnia and Neoflux Productions are proud to present the second half of tonight's feature, Night of the Living Dead, Reanimated.
We gotta fix these boards.
You're crazy. Those things are going to be at every window and door in this place. We've got to get down into the cellar.
Go down in your damn cellar. Get out of here!
I'm taking the girl with me.
You leave her here. Keep your hands off her. And everything else that's up here, too. Because if I stay up here, I'm fighting for everything up here. And the radio and the food is part of what I'm fighting for. Now, if you're going down the cellar, get.
The man's insane. He's insane. We've got to have food down there. We've got a right.
This is your house.
We've got a right.
You going down there with him?
Well,
yes or no? This is your last chance. No beating around the bush.
Listen, I got a kid down there. She can't possibly. I couldn't bring her up here. She can't possibly take all the racket and those things smashing through the windows.
Well, you're her father. If you're stupid enough to go die in that trap, that's your business. However, I am not stupid enough to follow you. It is tough for the kid. That old man is so stupid. Now, you get the hell down in the cellar. You can be the boss down there. I'm boss up here.
You bastards. You know, I won't open this door again. I mean it. Mr. Cooper, with your help, we could... With my help?
Let him go, man. His mind is made up. Just let him go.
Wait a minute. Judy, come on up here, honey.
You're gonna let them get hurt too, huh? It's all right, honey. Go ahead.
If we stick together, man, we can fix it up real good. There's lots of places we can run to up here. Mr. Cooper, we'd all be a lot better off if all three of us were working together.
Hey. Hey, kid.
He's wrong, you know. I'm not boxing myself in down there.
This radio station will remain on the air day and night.
Well, we're safe now. It's boarded up tight.
What about Tom and Judy?
They want to stay up there, let them. There are two other people upstairs, a man and a girl.
We heard you screaming.
You didn't know who they were, and I wasn't about to take any unnecessary chances.
Of course not, Harry.
Is she all right?
I don't know what it is. She feels warm. Maybe it's shock.
Where'd you get the bandage?
Some laundry in a basket. I tore a sheet.
Let them stay upstairs. Too many ways those monsters can get in up there. We'll see who's right. We'll see when they come begging me to let them in down here.
That's important, isn't it?
What?
To be right, everybody else to be wrong.
What do you mean by that?
Does anyone up there know why we're being attacked?
Whatever it isn't just happening here. It's some kind of mass murder. It's going on everywhere. The radio said to stay inside.
Radio?
Radio upstairs. I heard a news bulletin.
There's a radio upstairs and you boarded us in down here?
I know what I'm doing.
What did it say?
Nothing. They don't know anything yet. There's mass murder everywhere, and people are supposed to look for a safe place to hide.
Take the boards off that door.
We are staying down here, Helen.
Harry, that radio is at least some kind of communication. If the authorities know what's happening, well, they'll send people for us to tell us what to do. How are we going to know what's going on if we lock ourselves in this dungeon? We may not enjoy living together, but dying together isn't going to solve anything. Those people aren't our enemies.
Mr. Cooper! Mr. Cooper, Ben found a television set upstairs.
Let's go up. Tom?
Yeah.
If Judy would come downstairs for a few minutes, Harry and I could come upstairs.
Okay, yeah, right away.
Will you do it?
Do I have to?
Look, honey, nothing's going to get done with them down there and us up here. Do this for me.
Okay.
Okay, open up.
I'll take good care of her, Helen.
She's all I have.
Why don't you go upstairs now?
Her brother was killed.
Hey, give me a hand with this thing.
I gotta go help Ben with the television.
Don't be afraid of me. I'm Helen Cooper, Harry's wife.
This place is ridiculous. Look at this. There's a million weak spots up here.
A million weak spots? Yeah, that's a conservative estimate. Despite the wishes of some directors and purists of how films made for theaters are supposed to be viewed, many of Mr. Lobo's first experiences with many of the classics were presented on the small screen, hosted by his childhood horror host with frequent commercial interruptions. So let's perpetuate another horror tradition, shall we? Cinema Insomnia. We'll be right back.
Good afternoon, boys and girls. So how many of you have ever had to kill a zombie? Well, not too many.
What would we do without our zombies? They take care of the odd jobs.
Give me that. This is detail work. Flesh-eating maniacs need not apply.
Do the housework.
Oh, what is that zombie doing in my easy boy?
And play with the kids.
Nice catch.
Fido.
What names are zombie anyway?
Mr. Theophilus has a name for his.
I bet he does.
Nicely done, Tammy. But for the sake of your neighbors, please keep them fed.
Oh, jeez. That's Mrs. Henderson. We're in trouble.
Is that blood on your zombie?
It was a nosebleed. You stupid zombie. Help! Is Timmy in trouble?
Families having to kill their own. I'd take Dee Dee's head off in a second if I had to.
He always says that. Is that bad?
Yes.
My God.
Hold on. I don't want you thinking what we did is normal or okay in any way.
I don't.
Fido.
So without my job, we'd all be dead. And then where would we be?
Dad?
That's right.
Oh, no, it's Dead-Eyed Dan, and he's heard that sea monkeys are in town. Dan, wait, don't go in there. Sea monkeys ain't monkeys, Dan. Why, they don't even live in trees. They live in water, and for little fellas, they sure have big families. All anyone in this town has to do is add sea monkey eggs to prepared water, and bang, they see them alive. Now, Dan, there's only room enough in this town for one kind of monkeys, and that's sea monkeys, so you better head on out.
Sea monkeys, the amazing instant pets for the whole family.
And now it's time for the lucky Reel 7 girl to help Mr. Lobo present another winner in the first entry to our animation jam. Reel 7 girl?
She fell on a sonic hammer.
Oh, okay. Then you'll just have to fill in for her. Let's just have a look into Mr. Lobo's bowl and see what's happening with his plucky underwater pals in a new segment that we like to call the Brine Chimps. I guess we should have introduced some creative restrictions.
Tonight's animation was submitted by Kestrel Uyeda from California and was selected as Best in Show for the first wave of Cinema Insomnia's Brine Chimps Animation Jam. Kestrel, you will be receiving an award, an IMDb credit, and a prize package including a Roku streaming video player.
Congratulations, Kestrel. Great work. The first of many films we hope to present here.
And now, Cinema Insomnia proudly presents Reel 7 of Night of the Living Dead.
Give me one of those.
Her brother was killed.
And they talk about these windows. I can't see a damn thing. There could be 15 million of those things out there. That's how much good these windows are.
Why don't you do something to help somebody?
Here, I have it. Drag a couple of those chairs together.
There's a socket over here. You better watch this and try to understand what's going on. I don't want anyone's life on my hands.
Is there anything I can do to help?
I don't want to hear any more from you, mister. If you stay up here, you take orders from me. And that includes leaving the girl alone.
It's on, it's on. There's no sound. Play with the rabbit ears.
Reports, incredible as they seem, are not the results of mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria. What do they think? We're imagining all this? Shut up!
In all parts of the country. The wave of murder which is sweeping the eastern third of the nation is being committed by creatures who feast upon the flesh of their victims. First eyewitness accounts of this grisly development. Some further explanation of this.
We've heard all we need to know. We have to try to get out of here.
He said the rescue stations have doctors and medical supplies. If we could get Karen there, we could get help for her.
No, it's one of the reports persisted. Medical examinations of some of the victims bore out the fact that they had been partially devoured. I think we have some late word just arriving, and I'll interrupt to bring this to you. This is the latest disclosure in a report from National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. A widespread investigation of reports from funeral homes, morgues, and hospitals has concluded that the unburied dead are coming back to life and seeking human victims. It's hard for us here to believe what we're reporting to you, but it does seem to be a fact. When this emergency first began, radio and television was advising people to stay inside, behind locked doors for safety. Well, that situation has now changed, and we're able to report a definite course of action for you. Civil defense machinery has been organized to provide rescue stations with food, shelter, medical treatment, and protection by armed National Guardsmen. Stay tuned to the broadcasting stations in your local area for this list of rescue stations. This list will be repeated throughout our news coverage. Look for the name of the rescue station nearest you and make your way to that location as soon as possible.
So we have that truck. We can get some gas, we can get out of here.
There's a pump out by the shed.
I know, that's why I pulled in here, but it's locked.
Emergency meeting called this afternoon by the President. Since convening this conference of the Presidential Cabinet, the FBI, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the CIA has not produced any public information. Why are space experts being consulted about an Earth-bound emergency? So far, all the betting on the answer to that question centers on the recent Explorer satellite shot to Venus. That satellite, you'll recall, started back to Earth, but never got here. That's the space vehicle which orbited Venus and then was purposely destroyed by NASA when scientists discovered it was carrying a mysterious high-level radiation with it. Could that radiation be somehow responsible for the wholesale murders we're now suffering? Newsman Don Quinn in Washington has posed those questions.
It's obvious. Our best move is to try to get out of here.
How are you going to get over to that pump? Look.
You're coming from a meeting regarding the explosion of the Venus probe, is that right, sir?
Yes, that was the subject of the meeting.
You feel there is a connection between this and the phenomenon?
There's a definite connection.
In other words, you feel that the radiation on the Venus probe is enough to cause these mutations?
There was a very high degree of radiation.
Well,
just a minute. I'm not sure that that's certain at all. I don't think that has been
irrefutably
proved.
that we have at this time.
In other words, it is the military's viewpoint that the radiation is not the cause of the mutation.
I can't speak for the entire military at this time, gentlemen. I must disagree with these gentlemen presently until this is irrefutably proved.
Everything is being done that can be done.
We'll have to hurry for our next meeting.
And Professor, you feel that there is a definite connection between
definite connection as far as Dr. Keller and myself. Doctor, please. I thought we decided that is not proved yet.
Was the satellite, when the satellite was exploded?
An unusual amount of radiation, enough to cause mutation under certain circumstances. Could have happened.
Have a bearing on it.
It does seem to have a bearing.
Will there be a reply for this?
Later?
Yes.
There will be a reply.
Yes.
Later this afternoon. There will be a report this afternoon.
So perhaps there will be a report, a more
Later.
full report. Will you close the window?
We are doing everything possible to solve the problem.
Some further explanation of this.
We've heard all we need to know. We have to try to get out of here.
He said the rescue stations have doctors and medical supplies. If we could get Karen there, we could get help for her.
The world's foremost authorities on space science and technology.
Willard. I saw a sign that said Willard.
Any moment.
It's only about 17 miles from here.
You know this area. You from around here?
Judy and I are both from around here. We were on our way up to the lake to go swimming. And Judy had a radio, and we heard the first reports about this. So we knew the old house was here, and we came in and found the lady upstairs dead. Then these other people came. We went down into the basement and put a bar across the door, and it is pretty strong.
How could we possibly get away from here? We've got a sick child, 2 women, 1 woman out of her head, 3 men, and the place is surrounded with these things.
Ordeal for NASA. Dr. Grimes, your entire staff, I know, has been working very hard to find some solution to these things that are happening. Do you have any answers at this time?
Yes, we have some answers. But first, let me stress the importance of seeking medical attention for anyone who's been injured in any way. We don't know yet what complications might result from such injuries.
How bad has your kid been hurt?
Good advice, Doctor. Now, how about the basic complications? Well,
Look, you go down there and tell, isn't it Judy? Yeah, you tell Judy to come up here and you stay with the kid, all right?
Action taken with regard to the Venus probe. In the cold room at the university, we had a cadaver from which all 4 limbs had been amputated. Sometime early this morning, it opened its eyes and began to move its trunk. It was dead, but it opened its eyes and tried to move.
They want you upstairs. Did she ask for me?
She hasn't done anything.
I don't understand. Baby. It's Mommy.
I heard. I'll come back down as soon as I find out what they want.
Thank you, Judy.
The body should be disposed of at once, preferably by cremation.
well, how long after death, then, does the body become reactivated?
It's only a matter of minutes.
Minutes? Well, that doesn't give people time to make any arrangements.
Oh, you're right. It doesn't give them time to make funeral arrangements. The bodies must be carried to the street and burned. They must be burned immediately. Soak them with gasoline and burn them. The bereaved will have to forego the dubious comforts that a funeral service will give. They're just dead flesh and dangerous.
I see.
I need you to find some bedspreads or sheets to tear up into small strips, okay? Is there a fruit cellar here?
Yes.
We need some bottles or jars. Make Molotov cocktails and hold them up while we try to escape.
Hey, there's a big can of kerosene down there.
I'll see what I can find.
I'll look for the bottles.
There's a big key ring down there. There may be a key to the gas pump on it.
I'll check.
We can toss the cocktails from a window upstairs. Meantime, a couple of us can go out and try to get the gas and come back for the rest of the people.
But that'll leave a door open someplace.
Yeah, that's right. It better be this door. It's closer to the truck. Before we go out, we'll put some supplies behind the cellar door. While we're gone, the rest of you can hold up in there.
I found some fruit jars in the cellar. And there's a key on here that's labeled for the gas pump out back.
I'm not really that used to the truck. I found it abandoned.
I can handle the truck, no sweat.
You're it, then. You and I'll go. We'll put whatever lumber we find behind the cellar door. You can go upstairs and toss the cocktails from a window. Tom, you and I will have to unboard this door. After you toss the cocktails, you hustle back down here and lock this door. It's no good to board it up because we'll have to get back in quickly. After we get the gas and get back into the house, then we'll worry about getting everybody into the truck. Now let's move it.
You haven't seen the real 7 girl around, have you? Oh, look at this. I think I see one of Castro Ullida's brine chimps animations in there. Yeah, well, wow. This is why animators shouldn't drink. Cinema Insomnia. We'll be right back.
They're coming to your neighborhood.
You're not the pizza guy.
Zombies ate my neighbors! Now playing on Sega Genesis and Super NES, a 55-level feeding frenzy of prime-cut creature features, fending off bee-moving maniacs with your weed whackers, exploding soda pop, and boozy squirt gun. Save the neighbors! or their dead meat. Zombies Ate My Neighbors from Konami.
On Halloween, there's only one light beer. Miller Lite.
And now it's time for another Insomniac Mail Sack. You know, even before our official animation jam, we've always been a showcase for new artists. Here's some recent fan mail. Goes like this. Dear Mr. Lobo, my name is Jacob Lobo, no relation, and I was very happy to draw this artwork for you. By selling artwork, I hope to make enough money to fund convention trips. Well, at the prices they charge, I can't say I blame you. Do you have any suggestions that will help me be successful? Why, yes, Jacob. Don't stop drawing. The secret to being an artist is to make art every day. If you want to be a writer, write. If you want to make movies, make movies. You can only fail if you quit. And if you put yourself out there, opportunities will open up for you. And you seem to be off to a great start. Mr. Lobo loves your artwork. Also, I was wondering why you point with a gun hand. Thank you, Jacob Lobo. Yes, Jacob, Mr. Lobo points like this because it's much safer and saner than pointing with a real gun. And for TV, less rude than pointing with one finger. So thanks for the letter, Jacob. And Mr. Lobo hopes to see you at a convention real soon. If any of you out there would like to buy some of Jacob's fabulous artwork, and he's even got a picture of me up on his Etsy shop run by his dad, you can get prints from him. So now back to the movie.
To the rescue station which has been set up. Indications are that before this emergency is over, we will need many, many more such rescue stations.
You always have a smile for me. How can you smile like that all the time? How many do you have done? Come on, honey, we gotta move.
Tom, are you sure about the phone?
The phone is dead out. All you get is a recorded message.
If I could only call the folks. They're going to be so worried about us.
Everything will be all right. As soon as we get to Willard, we'll call them. They might even be there.
I know. Tom, are you sure we're doing the right thing, Tom?
What, about getting out of here?
Yeah.
Well, the television said that's the right thing to do. We've got to get to a rescue station.
I don't know.
Come on, honey, you're starting to sound like Mr. Cooper now.
But why do you have to go out there?
Look, I know how to handle that truck, and I can handle the pump. Ben doesn't know anything about that stuff.
But we're safe in here.
For how long, honey? We're safe now. But there's going to be more and more of those things.
I know all that.
Hey, listen. Remember when we had the big flood? Remember how difficult it was for us to convince you that it was right to leave? Remember we had to go to Willard then? This isn't a passing thing, honey. It's not like just a wind passing through. We've got to do something, and fast.
I just don't want you to go out there, that's all.
Hey, Smiley. Where's that big smile for me? Boy, you're sure no use at all, are you? We've got work to do, honey. And you...
better get her downstairs.
We have to go downstairs now, Barbara.
She's right. You have to go downstairs now, just for a little while, until we get back. Then we can all leave.
Oh, I'd like to leave. Yes.
Good luck.
Yeah.
You ready upstairs? Yeah. Okay, toss them.
I'm going with them.
Get back in the cellar.
I'm going.
It's too late.
Where's it coming? Come on. Get in.
Key won't work.
Watch it. Watch the torch.
Gotta get away from the pump.
Come on.
My jacket's caught.
Drag you out there and feed you those things.
Mr. Lobo can't look either. It seems Mr. Cooper's Sims were killed in that truck explosion. Cinema Insomnia will be right back.
Horrifying, isn't it? With all peanut butter flavor, you'll always come back for more. Nothing but peanut butter taste in each bite. And it's part of a balanced breakfast. It's to die for. It's the crunch that screams peanut butter.
In 2010, a group of filmmakers produced their own remake of Footloose. Now, they're doing it with RoboCop. 55 scenes by 55 filmmakers.
Dead or alive, you're coming with me.
10 Alex Murphys. 12 Clarence Boddickers. 15 Lewises. And 30 RoboCops.
Hey guys, it's me, RoboCop.
We killed you! Featuring everything you love about RoboCop. Violence. Toys. Video games. Evil corporations. Dancing. And that beautiful silver suit. A crowdsourced remake of RoboCop. Our RoboCop remake. If anyone is going to ruin RoboCop, it's us.
Mr. Lobo just got some more amazing animated brine chimps from teacher Brad Clark's animation class in Elk Grove, California. Let's see what they're up to.
It seems we're on a planet called Earth. It's called Earth. That sounds stupid. You're stupid!
You smashed the mirror of transparency.
Well, we promised Mom we would use our powers responsibly, but I suppose doing the exact opposite couldn't hurt.
Well, just because some lower life forms are changing channels, don't you get any ideas? Cinema Insomnia now returns to an animation jam of another color, black and white. Back to the movie.
Isn't it 3 o'clock yet? There's supposed to be another broadcast at 3 o'clock.
10 minutes.
Oh, only 10 more minutes? We don't have very long to wait. We can leave. Well, we'd better leave soon. It's 10 minutes to 3.
You know anything about this area at all? I mean, is Willard the nearest town?
I don't know. We were just trying to get to a motel before dark.
You say those things turned your car over. You think we can get it back on its wheels and drive it? Where is it?
Seems like it was pretty far away. Seems like we ran.
Forget it. It's at least a mile.
Johnny has the keys.
You're gonna carry that child a mile through that army of things out there?
I can carry the kid. What's wrong with her? How'd she get hurt?
One of those things grabbed her.
Bit her on the arm.
What's wrong?
Who knows what kind of disease those things carry? Is she conscious?
Barely.
She can't walk. She's too weak.
Well, one of us could try to get to the car.
You gonna turn it over by yourself?
You can't start the car. Johnny has the keys.
You have a car? Where? Where is it?
You won't be able to start it.
Yeah, I know. But where is it?
Good Lord.
Being monitored closely by scientists at all the radiation detection stations. At this hour, they report the level of the mysterious radiation continues to increase steadily. So long as this situation remains, government spokesmen warn that dead bodies will continue to be transformed into the flesh-eating ghouls. All persons who die during this crisis, from whatever cause, will come back to life to seek human victims unless their bodies are first disposed of by cremation. Our news cameras have just returned from covering such a search and destroy operation against the ghouls, this one conducted by Sheriff Conan McClellan in Butler County, Pennsylvania. So now let's go to that film report. All law enforcement agencies and the military have been organized to search out and destroy the marauding ghouls. The Survival Command Center at the Pentagon has disclosed that a ghoul can be killed by a shot in the head or a heavy blow to the skull. Officials are quoted as explaining that since the brain of a ghoul has been activated by the radiation, the plan is kill the brain and you kill the ghoul.
Anything from the supply wagon, Cuz?
No, we're all right. Hey, Cass, put that thing all the way in the fire. We don't want it getting up again. All right, I got you.
Chief McClellan, how's everything going?
Oh, things aren't going too bad. Men are taking it pretty good. You want to get on the other side of the road over there?
Chief, do you think we'll be able to defeat these things?
Well, we killed 19 of them today right in this area. Those last 3 we caught trying to claw their way into an abandoned shed. They must have thought somebody was in there. There wasn't, though. We heard them making all kind of noise. We came over and beat them off, blasted them down. Dink, as soon as you're finished, can I see you here? Yeah, okay.
Chief, if I were surrounded by 6 or 8 of these things, would I stand a chance with them?
Well, there's no problem. If you have guns, shoot them in the head. That's a sure way to kill them. If you don't, get yourself a club or a torch. Beat them or burn them. They go up pretty easy.
Well, Chief McClellan, how long do you think it will take you until you get the situation under control?
Well, that's pretty hard to say. We don't know how many of them there are. We know when we find them, we can...
Are they slow-moving, Chief?
Yeah, they're dead. They're all messed up.
Well, in time, would you say you ought to be able to wrap this up in 24 hours?
Well, we don't really know. We know we'll be into it most of the night, probably into the early morning. We're working our way toward Willard, and we'll team up with the National Guard over there, and then we'll be able to give a more definite view.
Thank you very much, Chief McClellan. This is Bill Cardill, WIC TV 11 News.
Thank you, Bill, for that report. Official spokesman declined to speculate just how long it may take to kill off all the flesh eaters, so long as the heavy rain...
Is the fuse box in the cellar?
I don't know. It isn't the fuse. The power lines are down. Helen, I have to get that gun.
Haven't you had enough?
But 2 people are dead already on account of that guy. Take a look out that window, click it.
I wonder what Mr. Lobo's brine chimps are up to now.
It's simple. We, kill the bat chimp.
If it's so simple, why haven't you done it already?
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
I've come for your pickle.
Say hello to my little friend. Ha ha ha.
Still watching TV. Monkey see, monkey do. See, monkey see. Why does that sound familiar? Anyway, what would you have them doing? Send us your creations and amaze our viewers. Cinema Insomnia. We'll be right back. See, monkey, see monkey.
Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle.
Yeah, monkey's uncle. New stunt race day with a monkey business name. Spread the stunts out every place. Make it tough to win the race. Run wild, monkey's uncle. Wind the timer, run and take the stunt that says be a snake. It's great, monkey's uncle. Time is going tick, tick, tick. Do a rooster who is sick. Cock-a-doodle choo. Run wild, monkey's uncle. Hurry, hurry, do those tricks for the monkeys out of ticks. Run wild, monkey's uncle. Time, now's your turn to show your speed. Do more stunts and take the lead. Run wild, monkey's uncle. Catch a fish and give a toot. Be an owl who cries, it's fun, monkey's uncle. Time! Wiggle, waddle, quick, quick, quick. Do the build-a-tower trick. 12 stunts, just 3 tries. Case of tie-spin, monkey's eyes. And you're a monkey's uncle. It's wild! Complete with stunt mats, cards, horns, clickers, tricks, spinner, and monkey timer. From Transagram, where the fun comes from.
A lot has changed since you've been inside, Jack. After the initial outbreak, the powers that be could no longer keep the lid on the thing.
They had no problem erasing me from existence.
This is the origin tale. The stuff that leads us to here, to this very moment. We saw our opportunity. We paid off your old stomping grounds for the land. We paid off the families of the dead.
What do you need me to do? So you got me in, I bring you back your people, I turn over your hacker, and I get to go home.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Somehow I doubt that. Abandon us or we need everyone. We're kind of in a time-sensitive situation here. Clock's ticking. I was sent here to save you.
Yeah? And who's gonna save you?
Ladies and gents, we're experiencing technical difficulties.
Well, that's not good.
Sounds like great television.
Another submission for our animation jam.
Do not be alarmed. I am the sum total of all animated evil, a linking device from beyond your dimension.
Wow. It's the Loch Nar from the 1981 animated anthology feature Heavy Metal. That's one of Mr. Lobo's favorite midnight movies.
Silence. Look deep into me and peer into the terrifying world of zombie reanimated by animators. But first, we have to get really high.
Mr. Lobo's cool. And now back to Night of the Living Dead, reanimated.
Oh, baby. Baby.
And so, young one, you have learned your first lesson.
Really? What was I supposed to learn from that? when hell freezes over, Furbies will walk the earth?
You're a feisty little minx, but you'll soon learn some respect. Look again. See what happens in the world of microscopic monsters, cold brine chimps.
That was different. Was I supposed to learn something from that, like mind my own business?
This next tale has the power to destroy me.
Then why tell it?
There is a reality where time itself is halted for the greatest evil of them all. A commercial.
The foam zombies are very, very dead. But they're not in their graves. And they're not walking the night. They're in the phone lines and they've got your number!
Want theirs? Dial 1-900-490-DEAD.
Randomly selected callers get to talk to me live, in the flesh. When you reach me, you'll wish you never called.
Only $2 a call.
Columbia Pictures takes you beyond the future to a universe you've never seen before.
I think you're going a little high, man.
It's okay, man. If there's one thing I know, it's how to drive when I'm stoned. It's like you know your perspective's fucked, so you just gotta let your hands work the controls as if you're straight.
Oh, wow. Good landing, man.
A universe of mystery.
Okay, sucker. Hand over your cash. Now.
A universe of magic. Heavy metal. A step beyond science fiction.
Pittsburgh horror host Chili Billy Cardilli is trapped in this final segment as the news reporter character. And as this terrifying ordeal unfolds, you, Mr. Lobo, will also be trapped forever. Look into me.
Looks like Mr. Lobo's getting taken to the flip side. And now the conclusion to Night of the Living Dead Reanimated. Oh no! I'm a toon!
Hey, Vince, Al, you want to get about 4 or 5 men and a couple dogs? There's a house over here behind those trees. We want to go check it out. Right, you go here, Bill.
Yeah, Chief, we're going to stay with it till we meet up with the National Guard.
Where'd you get the coffee?
One of the volunteers, you're doing all the work, you take it.
Thank you. We should be wrapped up here about 3 or 4 more hours. We'll probably get into Willard then. I guess you can go over there and meet the National Guard. Nick, you and the rest of these men want to come with me?
Well, Bill, I'm check in the office, see what's happening. All right, Steve, tell them we're going to stay with it, and everything appears to be under control.
Down there by the barn. Okay. Some of these guys can follow the wagon down. I only need a few men to check out the house. Somebody had a cook out here, Vince. Yeah, sure looks like it, Cop. He's a dead one. Get up here. You, drag that out of here and throw it on the fire. Nothing down here. All right, go ahead down and give him a hand. Let's go check out the house. There's something there. I heard a noise. All right, Vince, hit him in the head, right between the eyes. Good shot. Okay, he's dead. Let's go get him. That's another one for the fire. Come directly ahead. Over. Keep those dogs back off of those things. Go more quickly. Please. Let's go, back there. That's the way. Hey, Randy, light these torches over here. People in the back. Way in the back.
That's all, folks. Thank you for watching Cinema Insomnia.